Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you 24 watercolors from Arrtx, and they kindly sent this to me. I'll have all the information in the description below, and same with their sketchbook. Now you may have seen in a video in the past of me reviewing some of the markers, so I'll link that as well. They're pretty great, and honestly, same with the watercolors. You can see I've definitely used them. The booklet or sketchbook is pretty much the same paper as in the previous video with the markers. It's just bigger, and it's in a square form. So I'll do my color swatching on this paper, and I have been playing with it. It is nice because you can tear it out. You can see there's a little seam there that is fairly easy to rip out. You can paint on both sides. It does take water pretty well, and of course it is beautiful with the markers, and I haven't tried it with gouache, but I bet it'd be great with gouache. Now, to get the most bang for your buck when it comes to watercolors in general, if you drop some water into the paints, you can spray it, but really get it wet. It's going to activate those paints, and you're going to be able to pull more from them, so you can get quite a lot of color. Now we're going to go through this pretty quickly, but the first color is lemon yellow. We have cadmium yellow, Indian yellow, and we have cadmium orange, cadmium red pale, cadmium red deep, and then the next one's crimson, and rose, red violet, and violet. And we have ultramarine, Prussian blue, phthalo blue, and cerulean blue. We've got turquoise, phthalo green, sap green, olive green, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, raw umber, and some burnt umber, Payne's gray, and black. Now that was really fast, but I'm going to get right into the video, the important part, which is to use these paints in a landscape. You can see how they're acting on the paper. I love the ultramarine blue and the texture that it's getting. So I took the smaller booklet that I received last time, and I ripped one of those papers out. And so the colors I'm using are Payne's gray, violet, French ultramarine, the lemon yellow, and the sap green. Or it could be the olive green. I think it's the sap green. Now, I'll be honest, I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to go with this painting. Naturally, it ended up being moody to begin with, and then I realized, no, let's try to make it a bit more colorful and vibrant, which is not my natural go-to. So you can see I'm playing around. This does change once I throw in the purple. So as you can, I'm sure you saw the thumbnail, it's not this very moody, cloud scene. So I continue to play with it. I go ahead and spray it. I'm spraying it because I don't want a hard line, even though I go back over it with thicker paint and it's totally fine. But just wanted to let you know that I'm lifting, I'm pulling, I'm throwing some more color in. I mean, the paper's still wet, so I'm able to play without worrying too much about overworking it. It's really not that big of a deal. So now I'm throwing in my purple, and then I'm mixing in my purple with a little bit more of the blue, and then I alternate with a little bit more of the Payne's gray. Again, this is not a tutorial on a step-by-step demonstration. This is just me showing you the colors in a landscape that I was playing with. I have many videos on my channel where I do break steps down, so be sure, if that's what you're looking for, to check those out after you watch this video. And now I'm doing the lifting technique, because right now everything is just a little too blended together. I don't have very strong highlights, and I really want to make these clouds pop. They are naturally going to dry lighter, and so I want to make sure I'm defining some of those lines before I throw in more paint, as you see me doing here. I have a little bit more of the purple on my brush, trying to bring those clouds in a bit further. Again, as I'm doing this just from imagination, I am playing with it, tweaking it, realizing on the right-hand side I want to bring those clouds in a little bit more. So really it's just constantly playing around, and the paper I'm able to lift the paint quite easily because it's not fully dry. So want to let you know there. And then when I'm happy with that, after I've done my lifting, I go ahead and grab my green. Now, it's quite a strong green. It is the sap green. And I play with putting it straight on the paper, and then I add a little bit of the Payne's gray. You can see it's a little bit darker there. And then I throw in some of the lemon yellow. And I just continue to play to get a balance between a darker green, a lighter green. So thinking about my light values, my dark values, and my mid values. And there's not going to be too many highlights in here other than the sky. But that's kind of what I'm doing if you're curious. So again, just playing with the colors. I really want to demonstrate color mixing on the paper. Most of my color mixing is right on the paper. I'm not using a palette. I like to mix on my paper. That's partly because I'm lazy and partly because it's just a lot of fun to do, in my opinion. So I recommend mixing on your paper. Now I've gone in with purple and some of the blue. It's more purple than blue, so it's just a deeper shade of the cloud pretty much. Now I am using a long round. This is the typical brush that I use for my trees, and it's frayed, and I'm able to break those bristles up to create texture. And then because I am piling on the paint, I'm able to press the brush into the paper, as you see here, and start to lift and pull. This is just going to create even more texture. Feel free to give it a spray here as well. Now for this one, I added a green to the mix, but again, it's the same thing with the purple, the Payne's gray, and a little bit of that green, which ended up creating this more olive tone. And then I decided to pull the paint towards me diagonally, and I, at this point, wasn't quite sure what I was painting. This is the downside, I suppose, of not sketching something out. I'll be honest, I painted a few scenes before this one, but I wasn't happy with them. They were very colorful. I don't like a lot of color. So it was not speaking to me, but this I was on board with. So I didn't really like the direction, so I pulled out my palette knife and thought, let me just scrape up the whole paper and see what we get. And this is where I'm calling it an abstract piece, because it is a little bit more abstract. There's lots of divots. These could be rocks. I wasn't really intending for them to be rocks, but whatever you see, you can call it. So I decided to darken up the area. So wherever there is a little bit more color, then I just, very loosely threw in a darker shade of the green, which was the mix of the blue and the green. You can either use Payne's gray or the ultramarine to create some of the shadows. And I was liking it so far, so I'm really glad that I pulled out my palette knife. And you can see how the palette knife will work on their paper if you love using the palette knife like I do. Now, once I took the tape off, I realized I wasn't done and I wanted to add more because it just wasn't finished. It felt a little flat. So I took some of my PH Martin's Bleed Proof White and mixed it in with some of the purple. The only thing I'll have to say about the palette is it's missing a white. So I love using white in my paintings, and creating an accent color, but I will be honest, I do tend to gravitate towards the PH Martins, so, you know, just get that if you want, and then you can mix it with another color, and then you're able to, you know, bring your painting forward with highlights or mark making or whatever it is. So you can see that's what I did here. And then I decided that I needed to have some form of something to break up that back mountain from the foreground. So I threw in a very deep purple. So now you can see there's 3 different values of purple between the sky, the mountain, and now these shrubs, and a random little stick tree that I kind of just threw in there. And you can see, you know, just it pulls it forward, and then it pulls those mountains back, which is a really neat little trick. And I have to say, I'm really quite pleased with it. I typically don't do purples and greens, but I ended up loving this piece. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you check out their paints. Again, everything's in the description below, and I will see you in my next video. All right, take care, everyone.